Welcome to the Spanish for Medical Professionals. I am Dr. V. Today I have a nice surprise for you. We are going to learn the alphabet in Spanish, and we are going to learn through the alphabet the parts of the body, so you are going to be able to make more and more sentences. This is not a regular curriculum class. Remember that our curriculum class, we are learning the verb to be at this time. So this is more like an extra bonus to learn an extra vocabulary. This is going to be a long lesson, so you can take it in, in 2 times, or if you can do it just once. My recommendation is listen and writing. Every time that you hear what I'm saying, try just to listen and try to write the way that you think is supposed to be writing, and then go back to the slide and then see if you got it right or wrong. Okay, so we are going to be learning the alphabet and the parts of the body. Let's start it. The sounds. Let me tell you the name of the letters in Spanish and also how they sound. We have kind of the same letters than in English, but in English they call John, in Spanish there's Juan. So it has to be the same name, but in a different language. So the letter A is going to be A. Let's see what I'm saying. So let's start here. Let me pronounce. Please listen. I'm just going to be using my laser and try to follow that. This letter is called A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let me repeat it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Next one here. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, W. In some parts of the planet they said W, but it's more common W, X, Y, or Y, Z. So the main thing here I want you to pay attention is how the vowel sounds. Let's see if you're coming to Colombia or Ecuador or Chile, Argentina, and you are in custom immigration and they said, could you please spell your name, right? The main thing that you have to learn is how the letters sound, because especially the vowels, you are going to notice they are completely different. This is A, the next is E. And in English, you will say A and E, but this is not E. In Spanish, is E. In Spanish, the I is E. So don't get confused. You have to repeat that part of the class. Try to put review the vowel sounds and try to set your name using the letters. So like if your name is Mary, I will say, if I am in custom immigration in Spain and they tell you, please spell your name, M-A-R-Y, Mary. If your name is Laura and you are going to say L-A-U-R-A. If your name is Susan, you are going to say S-U-S-A-N. If your name is Robert, you will say R-O-B-E-R-T. So it is very important. If you get lost in a place, you are in Spain, you are in Costa Rica, and you know the name of your hotel, but nobody's going to understand your pronunciation, right? I am in the hotel, whatever, and you are pronouncing the hotel in English, and people are like, I don't get it, how you are going to get into the hotel. But if you know how to spell it, then you said, I'm staying in the Marriott, the M A, R, R, E, O, T. And the people, oh, you are in the Marriott. Estás en el Marriott. Okay, then we'll tell you. So we think that this exercise is some sort of silly, but sometimes it's very, very important, especially when you travel, when you are lost, when you want to spell your name in custom and immigration, to fill some forms, and so forth. Okay, so I'm just going to give you this slide here, and you can practice saying your name, the name of your partner, your children, your hospital, and so forth. Next one here. So let's start with the alphabet. So you are going to have the letter in the left-hand side. At the top of the page, you are going to have how the letter sounds. So this is the letter A, and sounds like A. Let's learn some vocabulary with this letter. Arterias, the arteries. Antibióticos. Articulaciones means joints. Articulaciones means joints. Anemia, ambulancia, asthma, abdomen, it is the belly, all the belly is abdomen, ano, aromaterapia, acupuntura. So here don't follow the arrow because mess up in the moment that I enlarge the images here. Antibióticos are those pills, the antibiotics, antibióticos. And joints like this one here, the elbow, the shoulder, the wrist, the knee. Articulaciones is joints. Articulaciones, joints. Very good. Next one here. Letra B sounds like B. Letra B. Let's learn vocabulary here. Boca is mouth. Boca. Barriga is all this area. In the previous slide, we learned that, oh, Dr. B, you told that that's abdomen. Yes, but remember, abdomen is some sort of medical term. Not everybody knows the belly like abdomen. So barriga is belly. That's a layman term for abdomen, barriga. And you are going to hear the patient say, me duele la barriga. My belly is painful. Me duele. It's painful. Bronquios, bronquios. Vaso, vaso is the spleen. Brazo with R, with R. Brazo, it's arm. So this is vaso, is the spleen, and brazo is the arm. Vaso is the spleen, and brazo is the arm. Next letter. Letra C, and sounds like C. Let's learn here. Cara. Cara is the face. Cara. Corazón is the heart. Cabeza. Cabeza is everything on top. It's the head. It's not just the face. It's not just the scalp. It's not just the hair. It's everything. Cabeza. Me duele la cabeza. You hear that. I have a headache. Me duele la cabeza. Colon. Ceja. Ceja is the eyebrows. Ceja. Cerebro. Cerebro is the brain, is the anatomic structure inside of the cabeza. Cerebro is brain. Codo. Codo is elbow. Codo. Codo. Cadera is the hip. Cadera is the hip. Cuello. Cuello is neck. Cuello. Neck. Caspa. Dandruff. Caspa. Dandruff. Columna. Columna is the spine. Columna is the spine. Next one here. Letra Che. In Spanish, we have a letter. And that's a lot of controversy, and I don't want to get in, but another letter that is the letra Che is the C and the H together and sounds like Che. Not much things with letter Che. Chequeo médico is the medical checkup. Chequeo médico. Oh, doctor, I'm coming for my chequeo médico. Are you sick? No, it's just my chequeo médico. Choque, choque, like when the patient is in shock. Choque means shock. Chinche, chinche is this thing here. It's a tick. In some countries, they call them chinche. In other countries, they call them garrapata. Chinche, garrapata means tick. I was bitten by a chinche. I was bitten by a garrapata. It's a tick. Chancro, chancro is the ulcer usually in the genital area, very common in syphilis and another STDs. Cheque, cheque is the check, the ones that you use from the bank to pay a couple of things. I don't think people are using that much anymore. Next one here, letra D. Letra D sounds like D. A couple of things here. Dedo, that means fingers. Dedo, fingers. So what I'm going to tell you right now, we said dedo for the hands, but we also said dedo for the feet. So I know you have fingers and toes. In Spanish, we have dedo for the fingers and also dedo for the toes. Dedo de la mano, mano is hand, dedo del pie, it is for the feet. Dedo is fingers for the hands and for the toes. Duodeno, so duodeno, it's that part of the intestinal tract. Dermis is same in English, that part of the skin. Dientes, dientes is this one here, is the teeth. Dientes is not the prosthesis, is the dientes, like everybody, dientes of the baby, mis dientes, your dientes, everybody, teeth. Diaphragma, you know what's diaphragma, the muscle between the chest and the abdomen, diaphragma. Digestión, digestión, oh doctor, I have mala digestión. I have bad digestion. Oh no, no problem, I have buena digestión. Buena digestión, good digestion. Diabetes. Digital. Digital is anything that makes reference to the fingers. Digital. Dysenteria. You know what is that? And drain. Drain is the same. It's those little plastic tubes that the surgeon put us on our body after surgeries or during surgeries, so we can drain liquids from there. That's drain. GP drain, so forth. Pigtail drain. Next one here. So we are learning a lot of parts of the body and medical terms. Letra E in English sounds I, but in Spanish is E. What we have here, estómago. Estómago is the stomach. Esophago is the pipe on top of the stomach, is the esophagus. Encía. Encía is not the dientes, the white part is the gum. Encía is gum, this pinky part here. Encía is the gums. Enfermedad. What's enfermedad? That's a very important word in Spanish for medical professionals. Enfermedad is sickness. And I have a couple of words that I can go from there, like enfermo is a sick person. Enfermera is a nurse, is a lady that takes care of sick people. So enfermedad, by the Latin and Greek roots, enfermedad is a disease. Yo estoy enfermo, I am sick. Mi enfermera o la enfermera es buena, the nurse is good. I hate this disease. I hate this enfermedad. Enfermedad is a disease. Very important word to know. Schizophrenia. You know what's that? Esqueleto. Skeleton. Emphysema. It's the same. You know what's that? Eczema. You pronounce in Spanish eczema. Eczema. In Spanish, you said eczema. Epilepsia. Epilepsia is epilepsy, the seizures. Embarazo. Look at this. What's that? Pregnancy. Embarazo. Sounds like embarrass, right? But it's embarazo. Equilibrio. Estreñimiento, we learned already in a lesson, and it's constipation. It's the opposite of diarrhea. Estreñimiento. Espalda. What's espalda? Take care of my back. Espalda is your back. Next one here. F, letra F, how it sounds, F. Frente is the forehead. Frente is the forehead. But also I can use to say the front of the house. So frente I'm going to use also in sentences to say the front of the house. Al frente de la casa o el frente de la casa. But I can say la frente de María. Then I am talking about Maria's forehead. But if I said el frente de la casa, I am talking about the front part of the house. Falange, you know what's that tiny little bone in our fingers, in our dedos. Femur, the big bone in your thigh. Faringe, the pharynx. Fiebre, fever. Facial, like the nerve, the facial nerve, el nervio facial. Facial is anything that refers to the face. Somebody can say it is a facial laceration. Laceración facial. Facial is the term to refer anything in the face. Femenino. What's the sex of the patient? Femenino. Flujo vaginal. We learned that the previous lesson. Flujo vaginal is the vaginal discharge. Remember that flujo sounds like flow. And some people said, oh, it's the vaginal flow, that maybe they are talking about the period, but no. Flujo means discharge. So flujo vaginal is the vaginal discharge. Férula, we learned already that in one of the lessons, is the removable splint. Férula. Pharmacy is farmacia. Pharmacy, farmacia. And flatos is the medical term for gas or gases. Next one here, letra G. Letra G. This is the tricky one. Please review the video about the G and J pronunciation. Let's learn some vocabulary here. Garganta. What's garganta? Is the throat. Oh, me duele la garganta. Me duele la garganta. My throat is painful. Ganglios. Ganglios is the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes. Ganglios. Gluteus. Gluteus is the muscle in the buttock area. It's more like a medical term. Glúteo mayor, glúteo mediano, glúteo menor, the three gluteal muscles. Gonadas. The same in English and Spanish. Gonadas. I'm talking about the ovaries and the testicles. Gangrena, that awful disease where the tissues are dying. Ginecologia. Ginecologia is that part of the department, is the department in our hospital where the GYN doctors work. Ginecologia. Ve a ginecología. Go to ginecología. Gota. Gota, we know it, is gout. Letra H. Letra H. Remember, the H doesn't sound in Spanish. So listen my pronunciation in the next words. You are going to notice that I almost make no sound when I pronounce the letters. Huesos. Huesos means bones. Hígado is the liver. Hígado. Hombro. Hombro is the shoulder. You have to pronounce very clear. It's hombro. It's not hombre, because hombre means man. My husband is hombre. Okay? He's a guy. Heces. Heces. Heces means a stool. When you need a sample, you give the patient a bottle and said, put the heces here. It's the stool sample. Herida. Herida is the general term for wound. Hemorrhagia is the bleeding. Hemorrhagia is the hemorrhage. Hemoglobina. I think you know what's that. Herpes. It's not herpes, it's herpes. Hernia. Hernia. Pronunciation is the clue here. And hierro. Oh, you need to take more hierro. Oh, what's hierro? Oh, doctor, I'm taking hierro. Or nurse, I'm taking hierro. Hierro is iron. Iron. Tabletas de hierro. We learned last week. Tabletas de hierro. Pastillas de hierro. Iron tablets, iron pills. Next one here. Letra I. Letra I. Some examples. Intestino, all of that. Intestino. Ileum is that tiny part of the small bowel at the end of this area here. Ileum. Iris. Iris is the part of the eye that changes the color from person to person. My iris is black. Mi iris es negro. Your iris es café. Tu iris es café. Mine is black. Yours is blue. Iris. Ingle is that part here, just the groin area. Ingle. Me duele la ingle. Me duele la ingle. Oh, maybe you are having a hernia. Ingle, hernia. Ingle is the area where usually the hernia can happen. Hernia, ingle. Inflamación is not inflammation. You see the little tiny dot on top of the O, that's a tilde. Inflamación. Infección, you know those words. If you have seen my previous videos, you know very well. J. Remember to review the video about the G and the J pronunciation. Those are part of the most difficult letters in Spanish. Sounds like J. Some examples here. Jarabe. I hope your baby take the jarabe. El jarabe es antibiótico. Jarabe is this one here, the syrup. Jalea is a little bit thicker, like the honey is a jalea. Honey is a jalea. Jarabe is more liquid. Jalea is more thicker. Joroba is this part here, the haunch. Jaqueca. Jaqueca is some sort of layman term that the people use to say headache. So some people, instead to say dolor de cabeza, pain of head, instead to say dolor de cabeza, they said jaqueca. Jaqueca. Next one here. Letra K. Not too many things in letra K for Spanish for medical professionals. One of the things that we use a lot is kilo when we weigh our patients. 30 kilos, 40 kilos, 50 kilos, right? Kilo as a measurement of their weight. Letra L. Let's learn some vocabulary. What is this? This is lengua, tongue, lengua. Also in Spanish can means languages. Laringe. What's laringe? Larynx. Laringe. Laringe, when we produce the sounds. Larynx box, the voice box. Labio. Lips. Labio. Lips. Lágrima. It's a tear. Lágrima. Lágrima. That is easy for you. Even though that in English you said tear, but you said the lacrimal glands. Now you know that lacrimal glands comes from the Latin. That's why we call the drops, the tears, we call lágrima. Ligamento. You know what is that? Lipoma. You know what's that? Laxative. Laxante. Laxante. Take your laxante today because you are going to have tomorrow your colonoscopy. Take your laxante esta noche. Lesión. lesión. You know what is that? Letra M, letra M. A lot of here. Mejilla. Mejilla is this part of the face, is the cheek. Mejilla. Muñeca. Muñeca means doll, right? The dolls, the Barbie dolls, the garbage something pill dolls, I don't even remember those ugly ones. Muñeca. But also in Spanish, muñeca means wrist. And you are going to find patients that they are coming holding the wrist and saying, me duele la muñeca. And you are like, what they said? They said something like a doll. Remember, muñeca is a doll. Yes, Barbie doll. Muñeca Barbie. But also, people can use this as a grist. Is grist. Mano. Mano is hand. All the parts of the hands. The fingers, the front, the back, all that. Matriz. Matriz is very interesting term. You may hear it, maybe not, but some countries people say to the uterus, la matriz. And they are going to tell you, I don't have la matriz. I don't need a pap smear. I don't need a pap smear. I don't have la matriz. And you are wondering, what is la matriz? They are talking about the uterus. They don't have the uterus. They don't want a pap smear. And you are like, what is matriz? Es mi matriz, matriz. So they don't know another name for that. Remember, if you hear matriz, that maybe they are talking about the uterus. Okay, next one. Músculo is muscle. Marijuana, a lot of people are using medical marijuana and they can tell you that, marijuana. Melanoma, you know what is that. Melasma, the patient is coming to the dermatologist and said, doctor, what is these dark spots that I have over my face? And then you say, eso es melasma. O eso se llama melasma. Melasma, the medical term for those skin dots that we have in the face sometimes. Morphina, you know what is that? Hey nurse, what you are doing? What you are putting that to me? Oh, don't worry, this is for your pain. It's for del dolor. Es morfina. Es para el dolor. La morfina es para el dolor. Muerte. Muerte is death. Muerte is death. Meningitis. You know what's that? Medicina. Mesa de examen. Mesa de examen is the table, because mesa is table, and examen is the examination. So it's the examination table. Please come to the mesa de examen. You tell the patient, can you come with me? Please jump in. That's the mesa de examen. Next one here. N, letra N. Few things. Nuca is that posterior part of the head. La parte posterior de la cabeza. La nuca, let me write it for you. I know all you know these letters, but I'm going to write it for you. So let me annotate, take my pen here. La nuca es la parte, is the part posterior de la cabeza. We just learned about cabeza. Now we are learning about nuca. La nuca es la parte posterior de la cabeza. Me duele la nuca. I have pain in my nuca. Next one here. This is nariz. And the patient can say, oops, me duele la nariz. Okay. So let me clear all my drawings here. And what is this? Nalga. Nalga is the layman term for the gluteal area. So the patient say, I come here because something is growing and is painful in mi nalga. But that's a layman term. So you are not going to answer using nalga. You are a doctor, you are a healthcare worker, and you are going to answer referring to the gluteal area. Sí. something is there in your gluteal area. You don't say, see, something is there in your nalga. Nalga is a very sensitive term and it's a very layman term. So if the patient said, I have something in my nalga, but you don't answer that. You said, oh, I see, there is an abscess in your gluteal area. Hay un absceso en el glúteo. Okay, next one here. Let me clear up my things here. Letra ñ. We learn a lot of words with this letter, but not for Spanish in medical professionals. We learn niño, niña. We saw that in the level 1, class 1 and 2. Letra O. Letra O. Oreja is all this here, is the conch and the cartilage and the skin and the canal. All of this is oreja, including the earlobe, including everything. Oído is the apparatus inside of the oreja that can help you to hear. So oído is the internal organ. Me duele el oído. If the patient in Spanish is telling you, me duele el oído, they are most likely talking about the internal part. If they want to tell you that something external, they are going to tell you, me duele la oreja. Me duele la oreja. Okay? Orina is the urine. Ojo is everything. Is the eyelid, the eyelashes, the conjunctiva, the cornea, the iris. Remember that we learned iris. The iris is the blue color, but ojo is everything. The plural, because we have two, is ojos. Ovario. What's ovario? It's the ovary, and it's plural, it's ovarios. And ombligo. What's ombligo? Ombligo is just this thing here. It's the belly button. Ombligo. Sounds like umbilical, right? So now you know the Latin and Greek roots. Ombligo. Oxígeno. You know that. Oxímetro de pulso. You also know that. First lesson, Spanish for Medical Professions 3. Pulse oximeter. Next one here. Letra P. Letra P. A couple of things. What's pelo? Pelo is hair. Remember the first and the second lesson, we learned how to describe ourselves. And we said, yo soy pelinegra. Yo soy pelinegra. I'm saying my hair is black. So pelo is hair. What's pestañas? Pestañas, eyelashes. Pestañas, eyelashes. Palma. Palma is that part of the hand that I am showing here. That is a palma in anatomic position that's in the front. Palma, that's palma. What is planta? Planta has different meanings. Planta is the lower part of your feet, the one that make contact with the floor, is the sole. But planta in Spanish also means a plant. My cactus, my hydrangea, my roses, my tulips, that's a planta. That's a plant. But in Spanish, if the patient is telling, tengo dolor, I have pain, or they tell you, me duele la planta. Let me write this for you. Let me grab a pen, and I'm going to write in this. The patient can say, me duele la planta del pie. What they are saying here, that they have pain in the lower part of the feet, that means in the sole. Okay, so that is planta, and of course, the new word here also is pie, which is the foot. Next one here, pelvis. What's the pelvis? You need a pelvic ultrasound. You need a pelvic ultrasound. Tú necesitas un ultrasonido de la pelvis. You need a pelvic ultrasound. Tú necesitas un ultrasonido de la pelvis. Okay, next one. Pierna y pie. We talk a already about pie. We know pie is food. Pie is food. The plural pies. It's not a pie, please. It's not a pie. It's pie. And pierna is all the leg. The calf, the thigh. Pierna is all the leg. So pierna y pie are parts of my lower extremity. Pierna y pie are parts of my lower extremity. Next one here. Parathyroides. You know what is that? The parathyroid gland. Pecho. Very important when you are going to listen this word here. If the patient is coming saying, let me delete this, me duele el pecho, you don't have to waste your time. This is happening here. It's a chest pain. So don't wait that the patient said, me duele el corazón, the heart. The patient doesn't know that. Or me duele el pulmón. The patient doesn't know that. The patient is holding the chest and is saying, please help me, ayuda por favor. Ayuda por favor, me duele el pecho. My chest is hurting. Okay, next one here, pulmón. Pulmón is the lung. Pulmones, el plural. Plural, in Spanish you said pleura. Listen the pronunciation, pleura, pleura. Prostate, in Spanish you said próstata, próstata. The next one here, pene, 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 penis. Plantilla, very important when somebody prescribes the patient a plantilla, then you have to tell, oh, you can go and buy your plantilla en la farmacia. Oh, it's not by prescription? No, you can pick up your plantilla en la farmacia. It's an over-the-counter one. So let me clear my drawings. Let's go to the next letter here. Letter Q, sounds like Q. Quijada is that part of the face. It's the chin. Quijada. What's quiste? You see this one? This is a sebaceous cyst. That's a quiste. Oh, doctor, what is that growth that I have in my nalga? Remember that example? Something is growing in my nalga. Remember the letter N? Oh, what you have is a quiste en el glúteo. Quiste, cyst. Next one, quimioterapia. Quimioterapia. Next one, quiropráctico. Quiropráctico. Next one here, how you say burn? Quemadura. Quemadura. And the scar, queloide. Quemadura and queloide. Let me grab here my pen and I'm going to say quemadura de primer grado, first degree burn. Quemadura de segundo grado, second degree burn. Quemadura de tercer grado. Okay, first degree, second degree, and third degree. Let me delete all this. Let's go to the letter R, la letra R. Let's learn how to say kidneys. Riñón. In plural, riñones. Riñón, riñones. It's not retina, it's retina. Retina. And the knee is rodilla. And the little bone here that he's touching here is rotula, the patella, the kneecap, rotula. How I said breathing, Dr. B? Respiración. Respiración. Take a deep breath. Let me write it for you. Take a deep breath. Respira profundo. Respiración is the act of breathing, is breathing. And respira profundo means take a deep, profundo is deep breath. Take a deep breath. Rash, you know what is rash, same in English and it's in Spanish. And the next one is not rhinitis, it's rhinitis. 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 Remember the letter E in Spanish, E. Rhinitis. Next one. Letra letra S. S. If your name is Sally and they ask you how to spell it, you are going to say S-A-L-L-Y. So if there is any Sally out there, now you know. Let's learn a little things here. Sangre. Sangre means blood. Oh, there is a lot of blood in here. Hay mucha sangre. Senos. Senos frontales, the frontal sinuses, senos maxillares, the maxillary sinus. So we know what is senos, but also senos means breast. So pay attention when your patient is saying, and let me write my pen in this. If the patient is coming and saying, me duele los senos, you don't know what they are talking about. Can be the frontal sinus, the maxillary sinus. They are talking about the breast. So you always have to ask. Don't assume that they are talking a maxillary sinus or frontal sinus, and you are just going to tell, oh, go and see the ENT, because what may need is a breast surgeon. Me duele los senos, and the patient can say, me duele los senos de la cara, of the face, right? Because they don't know about frontal, they don't know about the maxillary ones, you know that, but they don't. So they can say, me duele los senos de la cara, right? Okay. Sacro, what is sacro? You need a sacrum x-ray. Is this bone here? But sepsis, you say the same, sepsis. Síntomas, sign and symptoms. Síntomas means symptoms. We talk about senos, breast. And what is the sex of the patient? ¿Cuál es el sexo del paciente? What is the sex of the patient? ¿Cuál es el sexo del paciente? Okay, so let me remove all my drawings here, and now you know that senos can be the maxillary, the frontal, the ethmoid, and the sphenoid sinus, but also senos can be the breast of the patient, so pay attention to that. Letra T, the famous tiroides. We blame from everything. Tiroides, here you have a picture about the glandula tiroides. Trachea, that pipe, trachea. Trompas de falopio. The people can tell you, the patient can tell you, oh, I have surgery in the trompas. Then you know that's the fallopian tubes. We call trompas. Tobillo is all this area here. It's the ankle area. All this area here, not a specific. It's more like the joint, tobillo. Testículos, tímpano, tympanic membrane, tímpano, tableta. You know what's that? It's a tablet. We learned that. Temperatura. La temperatura es alta. The temperature is high, is elevated. This is new for you. Talón. Talón is this area here. Is this specific area here. Okay, talón is the heel area. Next one here. Letra U. Hang in there, almost done. Letra U. What's uñas? Uñas, nails. Ureter. This is for urology. You have a stone in the ureter. That means the stone is up here. This is ureter. Remember how was the name of this? Riñón. Ureter. Uretra is the little one here that makes us pee from the bladder to out. Uretra. Útero is different, right? Uterus. That's the uterus. Now, remember in the previous slide that we said some patient, they can tell you la matriz. La matriz. They, instead to say útero, they said la matriz. And to say the cervix, we said el cuello del útero. Remember what's cuello? Cuello is neck. So in Spanish, a lot of patients said, oh, I need a biopsy of the cuello del útero because the doctor told me that I have to repeat it in 1 year. And you are cuello del útero? Are you talking about a biopsy in your neck or a biopsy on your uterus? I said, no, en el cuello del útero. The patient is talking about the cervix. So cuello del útero means the cervix. Cuello del útero, cervix. So if the patient is coming to tell you, I want to see my GYN because I have something in la matriz and also I need a biopsy of el cuello del útero, you will be completely clueless because she didn't talk about uterus. She said matriz and she said cuello del útero. She didn't say cervix. So this is really important for you. Okay, let me clear my drawings and close this next to the letter, la letra B o V. Venas. What's venas? It's the veins. Válvulas del corazón. Válvulas is valves, the valves of the heart. Oh, Mrs. So-and-so, sorry, I have your echocardiogram. You have a problem at or in the válvulas del corazón. Doctor, why I have such a pain in my legs? Mrs. So-and-so, you have varices. I have a pain in right side of my abdomen. Where is the vesicula biliar? Vesicula biliar. That is gallbladder. Has nothing to do, right? Very different. Vesicula biliar. Maybe you can figure it out, the biliar, because of the bilis, but vesicula biliar is the gallbladder. Also, the patient can say, yeah, I have one surgery. I don't remember, but I think they take off my vesicula biliar. And you're, huh? Vesicula biliar is the gallbladder. Vagina is not vagina, it's vagina. Verrugas is a very common one. Oh, doctor, what is that little thing that is growing in my fingers or in my toes? Verrugas, warts. Volvulo. Patient is coming with the belly very distended and the family said, what's happening with my brother, my husband, my father? Oh, he has a volvulo intestinal. Volvulo intestinal is the volvulus. Vitaminas, we know what's that, vitaminas. And vulva, same in English, in Spanish, vulva. Letra W. Nothing in the Spanish for medical professionals, only that you are going to have a lot of Spanish-speaking patients that their name is with that letter. And that is the way you pronounce that name. Walter. It's not Walter, you pronounce Walter. Washington, Wilfrido, Wellington, William, Wilson. Next one here. Letra X. Just two things. The X-ray. Rayos X. X-ray. Rayos X. Mrs. So-and-so, you need rayos X de las manos. You need rayos X de la cadera. Remember, cadera was hips. You need rayos X de la columna. Remember columna? It was the spine. What is xiphoides? And pay attention to that pronunciation. It's not xiphoides. No. Xiphoides. The letter X, when we start in Spanish with this letter, sounds like an S. Xiphoides. And this case is appendice, appendix, xiphoid appendix, appendice xiphoides. Is that tiny little bone at the end of the sternum. Next one here, letra Y o Y. Letra Y o Y. We have something in the vowel that's called the jejunum, and you in English, you put it with a J. In Spanish, we put it with a Y. Yeyuno. Okay, is the jejunum, yeyuno. And we have these big veins on the neck, and we call them also jugular. La vena jugular derecha, that means the jugular vein in the right side. La vena jugular izquierda. This is very important. The next one, the patient can come and tell you, no, I don't one, my CT scan, yo soy alérgica al yodo. Yo soy alérgica al yodo. Let me write it. You know that example. Yo soy alérgica al yodo. Remember, that was the class 3 or 4, probably. We talk about allergies. Yodo, what is that? It's the iodine. So be familiar when the patient is telling you yodo. Maybe she's trying to tell you, or he's trying to tell you that has allergy to the iodine. Be careful with that. Pronounce yodo, yodo. Next one here, and probably the last one, letra Z. The only thing that I figured it out with this is zurdo. Are you a lefty or right hand? Very important for the neurologist. Are you, eres tú zurdo? Let me write it for you. Let me annotate, grab my pen, y le puede preguntar, you can ask the patient, ¿eres tú zurdo? Are you lefty? And people that they are lefty here, they probably understand very well that drawing. So thank you very much for participating in this class. I want you to practice the sounds, practice the vocabulary. Let's repeat and repeat over and over this vocabulary. It's very important. Remember that knowing some words and learning Spanish can save you for a lot of mistake, a lot of problems in communication, even liability, and that can save lives. For example, the example with the iodine and the allergy to the iodine. Try to practice and grab your name and try to say your name letter by letter in Spanish in case you need to spell it for the immigration customer people in Spain when you are going to a trip or Barcelona, or you come to Ecuador, to Galapagos, and you visit the beautiful Argentina, Puerto Rico, and so forth. Stay safe. God bless you. Use your mask, social distancing. Love you all.